What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite pond, the Coy Pond, episode 90. And as you can probably tell, we will be doing a Discord episode, a remote episode this time. K-Dog is unavailable, and that's okay. The show must go on. As you guys know, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. And of course, do not forget to leave a question on SpeakPipe. We haven't had a few in a while, and that's okay. I don't really expect anything to possibly come in until the NFL season at this point, especially during training camp weeks. I think tomorrow or Friday we have our first Hall of Fame game. But
Thursday's a Hall of Fame game, yeah.
Yeah, but, football doesn't really start for about another month now, so no worries there. And as you can see, I'm joined by our resident Cowboys fan this week, Matt, with us once again ever since the infamous way too early week 1 predictions video.
Yeah, we're back. We're back.
I don't think either one of us expected that video to do numbies, some would even say. And for our channel, it in fact did significant numbies. And we'll see if we get any repeat people coming back to see what Matt and I have to say this time.
Yeah.
I still can't believe how well that video did. That was crazy.
I just liked how slow the comments went from attacking our dumb takes, which, I mean, we can only see how dumb they are after the season plays out, to attacking each other. And
yes, the cannibalism.
Nicer in the comments there.
It went a peak and valley, if you will. It started nice, and middle was a bit ruthless, and then by the end of it, they've cannibalized each other because just about every fan's team commented. And to the Saints fan, who is your goddamn quarterback? All right, that's all I'm saying. That's all I want an answer to. Because if it's Rattler, I'll still take the Cardinals week 1. But that's beside the point. I would never hold a grudge. As you guys can tell, this week we're doing hot takes for the upcoming NFL season. We're going to keep it short and sweet. Got a couple of these to do since we'll be on vacation next week. Should be a fun time. But nevertheless, we can't miss the Christian Wilkins news. He apparently kissed another player on the team, made that player uncomfortable. He was doing it in a playful manner, according to this ESPN article, or about, I think it's what a coach said about the situation. Said player did not take it that way, and they got rid of Christian Wilkins, which leaves many to think it could have only been Max Crosby that said that he did that too. Yeah. Without a doubt, who knows? But, I mean, the videos coming out on Twitter of the compilations of Christian Wilkins throughout the years, hilarious. The situation, unfortunate for him. If he was just having a good time, so be it. But I know a lot of sports shows have already commented on it that wouldn't be cool. I love the idea of thinking he kissed Max Crosby on the top of the head and they cut him the next day. I would assume he lands on another team. It's fucking Christian Wilkins. He's a great defensive player. He had I think he had an injury in there, but maybe you get him on discount now, and who knows who gets stuck with the bill for cutting him. I would assume, I don't know. Never mind. I'm not even going to assume. I don't fucking know. We'll see how it all plays out. Should be interesting. Now, the time everyone's been waiting for. What Matt and I are about to say about the 2025 NFL season that we consider hot takes.
Fan bases that will not be happy.
There's probably a couple fan bases that won't be happy. We don't know jack shit. Go watch the week 1 video if you want to, cement that theory. But I don't think there's a better place to start than maybe a hot take on a good note. Maybe for the New England Patriots, if you will. Patriots have done a lot of good things going into the 2025 season. We've talked about them on this channel
a couple times now.
Vrabel, Diggs, Drake Mays was looking good. They're making all the right moves. They're bringing the right energy. Drafted really well. Trying to protect that poor boy in the backfield. And if you look at the start of this schedule, I'm not going to say it's easy, but I do think there are several winnable games through week 9. Even if you just want to go as far as week 8. I don't know what the Falcons look like this year. I don't need to comment on them. But if you go just strictly to week 8, you're looking at the Raiders. They're coming to New England. That's a lot of new players, new coaches on that team. Haven't played before. There's rookies. They just started the news for Christian Wilkins. Who knows what Raider land's like right now? That's going to be a huge deal for Mike Vrabel, being his first head coaching game, his first game being a coach for the Patriots. there's a good shot they could win that. There's a lot of, I would say, interesting things going on in Miami as they trade away Jonnu Smith, a tight end that was looking, Tyreek Hill's relationship with Tua. There's been Jalen Ramsey going to the Steelers. They did get Minkah Fitzpatrick, so that, kind of 1-to-1, but also you still lost one of the best threats that Tua had, or was using at the end of last year. So, interesting there. Steelers dominant defense. I would assume the Steelers probably would win that, but it is in New England, so you never know. Carolina, feels like Patriots could go either way with that. Probably going to lean win on that. Buffalo, it's Buffalo. I'm not even going to play there. They lose that. But then you have Saints, Titans, Browns. They could win all three of those in a pretty feasible way. I don't even know how to describe it. There's a good shot they win those games. And at that point, you're looking at 5-2.
6-2 right there.
6-2.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, there's a shot the Patriots come out this season looking really good because they've played some average teams.
And the Falcons, I believe, are ranked 25th best team in the NFL according to ESPN on Twitter or everything that. So I think the Falcons are a little bit better than that. But, I mean, the Patriots, if they can hold themselves. They can hold themselves. 7-2 starts, not out of the water there. For a team that was struggling really hard last year, even though they did stay in some games they shouldn't have last year and did win a couple last year that they shouldn't have won probably. So,
exactly. I mean, there's a shot the Patriots come out the season looking really good. Obviously, there's a stretch later in the season where probably don't win quite as many games as the first 9 weeks, but there's a case to be made that they're going to come out hot this season, and I think honestly would be the best way to describe it for a hot take is they could potentially go, even if you go through week 11 then, not counting obviously the Bengals up to that point, they could win against Atlanta and New York and lose to Tampa Bay, and then that would be 8-3.
Yeah, lose to Bengals, win against New York as well. That's 9-4 going to the bye.
Nevertheless, Patriots could be a potential threat at the beginning of this season, and by threat I mean they have a favorable schedule to say the least. I think the Patriots come out swinging. Then all we got are the ESPN and Fox Sports and all these programs talking about how great the Patriots are before they have a little bit of a reality check the second half of the season through the schedule. I think it's safe to say it's possible. I don't know. Who knows what the Patriots really look like? Again, they also have a new head coach, bringing in some rookies. I don't think it's crazy. Maybe it is. But Patriots are going to look pretty good this year. And stay in the AFC East. Dolphins. I have not been high on the Dolphins for some time now. And Matt, I think you might have heard more about this than I did, but apparently Tua and Tyreek are going through a little relationship issue.
Relationship rehab is, I believe, what the quotes are saying right now.
That's not what you want to hear. Again, they shipped out Jonnu Smith. Waddle's there. He's probably going to have one of the best seasons so far, especially because if Tyreek's relationship is fractured after his half-assed attempt at the last couple of games last season, on top of them getting rid of his next favorite target, or one of them, Jonnu Smith, they got rid of Mostert, Jalen Ramsey's gone, Wilkins they got rid of last season. Dolphin land is in turmoil, and that's assuming Tua stays healthy.
And I feel like McDaniel might be in the hot seat this year if the Dolphins can't do anything, so that's also going to be a little bit added pressure.
Yeah, Mike McDaniels, I love him. I think he's one of the most hilarious coaches in the NFL in a good way. I think he's funny as hell. The whole vaping story that came out last year, I think it was on the sideline, was immaculate. But again, the Dolphins, if they can't get anything done this year with Tua, with the Tyreek, with Waddle, with Achane, it's not going to be a good look. And I think hot take, if the Dolphins don't come out swinging this first 6 weeks, McDaniels is going to be on the hot seat quick, I bet.
Their schedule's pretty easy in the early, 4 or 5 games or so. They should be able to win at least 2 or 3 of them. 3 most likely if they want to be in a good spot for the rest of the year. But I feel like if they don't pull some stuff together in those early weeks, I could see Tyreek Hill being traded probably by week 8 or 9. I generally do believe that.
Hot take number 2. Tyreek gets traded midseason, maybe even at the bye week after they go through the gatekeepers of Baltimore, Buffalo, Washington.
Yeah.
I think is that Washington? Yeah, that's overseas. That's got to be a London game. Madrid game. Excuse me.
I've seen a lot of speculation of him potentially wanting to reunite back with the Chiefs. I've also seen other speculations or just other teams that need a wide receiver one they'd be willing to go to for the money because he is getting up there in age. He's not having any success here. It's about this time where these star players would want to start jumping around trying to ring chase or just secure themselves a lot of money. So
I mean, just look at Von Miller, played for the Bills and now is on the Commanders. I haven't heard his name in a game in quite some time. But regardless, after they go through the gauntlet of Baltimore, Buffalo, Washington, I am just curious what will be said about the Dolphins come week 12. You know, they play Buffalo twice before their bye. They have Washington, they have the Chargers, you know, Patriots and Colts. Baltimore. Hell, even the Jets, maybe. What'd you say? Sorry?
And Baltimore.
And Baltimore, yeah. I mean, that's a hell of a way to start the season, honestly. And it looks like three of those are primetime games, potentially, if I'm reading that right. They got to put up some wins. I would assume Mike McDaniel is for sure in the hot seat by the end of the season if he makes it that far.
I could see the Dolphins collapse and potentially finishing last in their division, if not a pretty close race for last with the Jets.
Yeah, Jets-Dolphins race for last in the AFC East would be detrimental.
I think also, New England will just take second just off a hot start and maybe squeak in a couple games they shouldn't be winning towards the end of their schedule.
You never know, especially with how that division is. I mean, it's hilarious when you think about it. You got the Patriots, Bills, and Jets all at the top of the U.S., and then you've got the Dolphins down in Miami. You know, that plays to their benefit both ways, just depending on when and where they play those games. So they play New England and New York early in their own stadium, and they'll have to travel New England and New York later in the season in December and then week 18. So that, you know, the Patriots could squeak a couple sneaky wins. They could split the games with the Dolphins. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. But we'll have to see. Jets and Dolphins bottom of the AFC East would be hilarious, in my opinion. Vrabel coming in and immediately putting the Patriots in second place, even more hilarious. And then the Bills, I think, you know. You'd have to make a pretty hot take to not assume they come in first this season, barring any injuries.
I think the Jets, though, the reason they are able to beat the Dolphins, I feel like a running back, a dual threat quarterback like Justin Fields being in that scheme works a lot better than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers also had a lot of turmoil with other players last year, and he was just not very mobile at all. So I feel like putting a young Justin Fields in there who keeps getting traded around, is going to have some fire to play. And I feel like they're actually going to have a pretty good showing this year, too, as long as they stay healthy and that big toe doesn't keep hurting them. But that's why I feel like the Dolphins could fall.
Yeah, and the Jets bring in a defensive-minded head coach, Aaron Glenn. I don't think that's a bad thing for the Jets because they just got done signing Sauce Gardner and obviously Garrett Wilson. But, you know, get the Jets defense moving and humming again. They'll be in good shape. Create some more turnovers.
But it's doable.
Yeah, you know, it sucks for the Jets because, you know, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Tampa, and then a divisional game. Yeah. Then Dallas, then Denver. I mean, say what you want about Dallas and Miami, maybe out of the 6 of those, but that's still a rough start to a schedule. Even towards the end, you get New Orleans. No, it doesn't. Yeah. They might have it cut out for them this season, but you know what? That's to be expected. I think
they'll look more of like a team than they did last year for sure.
Aaron Rodgers just felt so inconsistent in games. I don't necessarily fear that for Steelers, but it's only because the Steelers haven't had a quarterback in, I don't know, has it been since Roethlisberger? Am I forgetting someone before that?
I think it's really been Roethlisberger.
Because they tried to bring in a few people and it just kept not working out over and over again. Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. I feel like I'm forgetting someone, but I you know, if I can't remember them at this point, they couldn't have done that.
They didn't have any superstars, really.
No, not like that. When you're talking AFC West, the only team you have to mention now for the last 5-6 years has been the Chiefs. But there's a lot of people saying there's a good shot maybe the Chiefs don't win the division this year. I don't know what that's based in. I don't know how they got there. I was hoping the Chargers would do better than like 2-10 against them in the last 6 years, but they obviously have not been able to do that. What do you think? Any other AFC West team going to dethrone the Chiefs this year?
I can see either the Broncos or Chargers, honestly. I think the Broncos have the better shot at it because I just think their defense is just immaculate. I think the Chiefs just won so many close games last year. Kelsey's still getting up there in age. You can tell he's running slower. Even last year, you can see that. I feel like if their luck doesn't go the same way it did last year, the Chiefs could easily. They're still going to be a solid team. They're not going to be as dominant powerhouse as usual. And they usually do come to life in the playoffs or whatever, but I still don't think the Chiefs will even make it past the AFC Championship game this year.
Yeah, to be honest, I think every Baltimore and Buffalo fan is hoping that one of the two teams can dethrone the Chiefs when it comes to that AFC Championship. That's not the Bengals. But I don't know. I feel like I've got too much of a bias. I would love the Chargers to be able to sneak one in Brazil. I think that's their best chance. Come week 15 at the Chiefs, someone's team is going to be more hurt, or the Chargers will just get their teeth kicked in by Travis Kelce like he usually does. But I could see it. I mean, the Broncos looked amazing last year. They really brought it together. They signed Courtland Sutton. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility the Chiefs get dethroned, but the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and really, as long as they get into the wild card, I think they still have a shot to win the Super Bowl, sadly.
The scary part,
Rashee Rice back this year, too.
The scary part is the Broncos with Bo Nix with the sophomore slump potential. We've seen that affect people a few times. But I think just the Baltimore, they've just stacked up so hard on their defense even more, even though they already had such an amazing defense last year. They're hungry. They want a chance in the Super Bowl at least because they're known for being chokers. They're playing with the chip. Buffalo, they know, like Josh Allen just won MVP. He wants it too. He just can never get past the Chiefs. So if they play any of those teams against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, I'm giving the edge to Baltimore or Buffalo. And even then, they still have to make it there because they have to play Denver. The seeding just doesn't go their way, and they got to play them earlier. And then they got to play another one in the championship. They're going to be beat down and everything there too. So I just feel like it's not going to be the Chiefs' year. I've said this multiple years in a row now, and I just keep getting proved wrong. Well, I'll be right one day.
Hey, you know what? If you keep saying it, you're bound to be right. I don't think it's a bad thing. I, honest to God, hope the Chiefs don't make the Super Bowl this year. But I think a lot of AFC teams that have been there in the playoffs the last couple seasons, like, obviously Ravens and Bills, but then you think about, like, Texans, Bengals, Broncos, the Raiders went there once, but I don't know. Who knows what that season looks like for them. But short story long, I really think that someone dethrones the Chiefs this year in the AFC West. I think there's a good shot that between the Broncos and Chargers, one of them can pull it off. The Raiders could be sneaky early, maybe. I don't know. I've been thinking this for years, and it hasn't happened in years. And maybe just once, I'll get to see the Chargers do half decent and maybe win a playoff game. But that's a different thing.
I don't have any faith in the Raiders to even come close to that until they get a good wide receiver one, because their main target right now is just Brock Bowers, and that dude's going to be beat to all hell. The other guy's Genty as a rookie trying to carry a little bit of the receiving weight as well is going to be brutal.
Geno Smith, too. That's reunited with Pete Carroll. I don't know what to expect there. I don't want to trash it. I just don't know what to expect. Geno Smith's getting up there. Yeah, it really is. It could, they'll beat the Ravens one week and then get throat stomped by the Browns the next. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. But Chiefs, any other team but the Chiefs to win the AFC West, which leads us to the NFC. I sincerely think, last year we had the NFC North. They put in 3 teams into the playoffs. They also had the AFC West put 3 teams in the playoffs. This year, I really do think the NFC East, there will have 3 teams that make it to the playoffs. I think the Eagles are going to be the Eagles. That general manager, that team, that front office has done an amazing job of keeping the talent young and dynamic. The Commanders only made their team better. The Cowboys will cowboy, but I think, 2 years ago, there was home field advantage that went crazy for them. Last year, home field advantage did not exist. I think it was they went some ridiculous stat for wins and losses at home.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I think they went undefeated or something like that. Then their first loss at home was in the playoffs against the Packers.
And it just tumbled down. I think the Cowboys this year, barring, again, defensive injuries that kind of swallowed that team, and Micah Parsons, who knows where that goes. I would imagine he signs back, but the headlines that make everything sound so much worse than it really is. I still think the Cowboys can sneak in this year. All right, I don't have much faith in the NFC South aside from the Buccaneers. Michael Penix still needs to prove some stuff with the Falcons. They've already announced, he's the starter, but I think Tampa Bay is just Tampa Bay. I think they can handle that. The Niners and Rams, and even the Cardinals, have complete faith in, but I think that division cannibalizes themselves. The NFC North, they got 3 teams in last year. For some reason, I just don't have that same feeling this year. So I'm going to go NFC East to have 3 teams make the playoffs.
See, I agree with that, though, because I think the Lions and the Vikings are still going to be very dominant. I don't think the Lions are going to be as dominant this year because people are starting to finally catch up on them, learn their plays. They lost both the coordinators. I still think that talent on their team and just their vibe on that team makes it going to push them far enough. And they're going to be definitely in the playoffs. I think they're going to win the North pretty easily. I think the Vikings team as a whole is also just too good, same with the defense. I think the Packers are going to regress this year. I keep seeing people saying they're the 5th best team in the league, that they're going to sweep the division. There's nothing I feel like has really changed except for they got Golden as their wide receiver, but we still don't really know their number 1 wide receiver. It's
make up for those wide receiver injuries and drops.
Yeah, Jordan Love still really hasn't proven himself. I know that was comments before, but he has really, really good, really, really highs and really, really lows. There's just, I don't know. I just feel like the Packers are going to get snuffed out of the playoffs this year.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just an idiot, and I'm sure the YouTube comments will let me know. I really think the Packers go both ways in hard waves, where one week they beat a team 47-10. That next week with the same team, 3 wide receivers are injured. 2 of them had 20 drops, and Jordan Love was carted off, and Malik Willis scored 2 rushing touchdowns. They lost to the Colts or something like that.
They're so just hit or miss. It's hard to actually predict on them, and I just don't think – I think they're too inconsistent to actually make a playoff run, let alone I don't think this year they're going to make the playoffs. I still think they're going to be a pretty solid team in the regular season. I just don't think they're going to be good enough to do that.
They go like maybe 9-8, and they lose the head-to-head, so they get out of the 7th seed or something like that potentially.
Yeah, I don't see all the highs all these people are seeing on them, but it's hot take.
Hey, we're just speaking our mind. Nothing wrong with that. So you basically have the same situation.
I'd say that division's going to, not division, the NFC is just going to be San Fran, Bucks, as you said, Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders, and Lions and Vikings. I think it's just those 7. I feel like it's pretty clear cut in my head, but I've been wrong before, and I could be wrong again.
Hey, you know what? That's okay. That's okay. The NFC West is getting better and better, but the NFC South, I don't know. I don't know. Panthers were surprising the second half of last season. I don't know what to look for this upcoming season.
I think they're going to improve a good amount. I just don't think they're at that peak yet where they're going to be contending too much for a wild card spot.
They went from 0-1, not 0-10.
I think they were at 1-9 or something like that last year. I could see them mid-range.
The Red Rifle had to come in.
Yeah, exactly. They looked really good, though. The team was meshing.
They did. I think Panthers are moving in the right direction, without a doubt. Should we go ahead and do our favorite little segment for picking the best and worst teams going into the season?
Yes. So last year I was able to predict that the Jacksonville Jaguars were going to be the last winless team, and they end up going 0-4 and then finally getting their 5th their win in Week 5 against the Colts. This year, I believe we came to the consensus that it's going to be the Browns.
Without a doubt. I can't say without a doubt.
That's not even a hot take. I feel like that's a pretty easy pick. But, their first 6 games are Cincy, Baltimore, Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, and Pittsburgh. Last year only took 5 weeks. I could see them going 0-6 minimum. So
yeah, and you know what? We did this last year, just him and I, but we thought, why not bring it to the people? If you watched this video long enough and stomached it, you deserve a winning pick potentially. Honest to God, the only way this loses is if somehow the Browns beat the Bengals.
In Week 1, because the Bengals will Bengal.
Literally, the only thing that scares me is Bengals Week 1. If they make whatever fucking starting quarterback for the Browns they have Week 1 look like a god because of the Bengals defense, I'm going to be beside myself. Because they're going to end up going then 1-10, 1-12 until the Raiders maybe. They legitimately don't have an easy game until maybe the Vikings, but that game's in London. So it's like, that's the only time they'd have it feels like a solid shot. The defense for the Browns will be amazing, don't get me wrong. But that offense, for the love of God, how many quarterbacks do you need?
Yeah, the Vikings defense is pretty solid, so if they don't even know their starting quarterback, I don't know how they're going to go against the Vikings, to be fair. So
I don't know. I think the Browns are the safest bet. You have to look at all the schedules, obviously, because you're not picking the worst team. You're picking who's got the hardest first 10 weeks.
And the Cleveland Browns
kind of seeing how it lines up.
Just got lucky to fit both those categories. So
you could call that a double whammy. That's going to be our pick this year for last winless team. And we'll see when the win comes. It'd be my luck they're the team that beats Baltimore in the second week, kind of like the Raiders beat the Ravens week 1 or 2 last year. That'd be atrocious. But division games are divisional games. And our second little pick, if you want to say, is we always like to do the last undefeated team. And this year, if you kind of look at scheduling and consider everything, the Niners got it by a mile. I mean, we were looking at the Niners schedule, and just the, up until week 5, which is where you can really start gauging it based off last year, it feels like the Niners, they're going to be, I feel like, determined to this year, assuming Ayuk doesn't split his body in half and go out for the rest of the season again.
Come back healthy.
Yeah, come back healthy. Seattle. I don't know what to expect with Sam Darnold. I'm not convinced he's a real quarterback still. I still think the Vikings had just an amazing team. Saints don't know who their quarterback is. Cardinals could put up a fight. I don't necessarily love that matchup for 49ers being the last undefeated.
But it's at San Fran.
It's at San Fran. And then Jacksonville. I don't think Travis Hunter can cover the entire field and catch every touchdown for the Jaguars, personally.
We did look at all the schedules, too, like the powerhouses, the Ravens, Bills, Eagles, and Chiefs, and all them. They all just play each other early in the schedule, it seems like. Yeah. So they're all just only one team's going to make it out of that undefeated, if any of them. So the only other team that could be is the Eagles. Yeah.
I don't see it. They play Tampa Bay. That's who always beats the Eagles.
So, yeah.
And even if you go to look at the Rams, they have to play the Niners week 5.
And Eagles week 3.
Eagles, Texans week 1. Baltimore week 6.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I think the Niners are a safe pick for that. I don't know who's favored. I haven't looked at the bets. I don't even know if those are out yet. Usually those come out like week 1 after the first half of the teams have won and lost, but it just feels like Niners are going to be your best bet. And honestly, I think that does it for us. Matt, do you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, just...
All right.
No.
Perfect. In that case, everybody have a great week. We will see you all next week on the Coy Pond. And, stay safe. Peace.